Hi, welcome to Task 24. Now, today I'm going to read you 3 chapters and you're going to answer some questions about it. If you're starting out, you're putting the order of events into the right order and writing a little sentence about each one, and then growing in confidence and confident folk. You've got other questions. Some of it's about the speech, some of it's just about the story, so make sure you're listening. There's a copy of the text if you want to go back through it, or you can listen to me reading it again. It really doesn't matter. So chapter 6, Dog Day Afternoon. As soon as he got home, Dinking set to work on his new invention. The frightening things wouldn't reappear till midnight, and he had to act now, and alone. He made a helmet from a colander, then taped his new camera and a torch onto it. Finally, he fastened a toilet plunger to the front. The Zombatron 6000 was complete. The plunger was a demasker that would suck off Molly's human disguise. A click of the camera would get a perfect shot of her gruesome Zombalian face. Then Dinking would have proof. The trouble was, he had to get close enough to use it. Dinking put the Zombatron 6000 onto his head and tiptoed outside. He was in luck. Molly was in her garden with Princess Puppyface. Dinking had to get closer, and he knew how to do it. He would sneak up in the Snoopmobile. The Snoopmobile was really the Dings family's wheelie bin, but Dinking had some clever alterations. He clambered inside, put his feet through the holes he'd cut in the bottom, and peered through the viewing window. "Target sighted. Approach with caution," he stuttered, breathless with terror. He shuffled forward. The Zombalian was so close. He stuck out the demasker. Ready? Steady. It was then that Princess Puppyface decided to attack the Snoopmobile. "Ruff, rah, rah," growled Princess Puppyface. Dinking closed his eyes and waited to be ripped apart, but nothing happened. He peeked out and came face to face with Molly. "Ah!" he screamed, waddling away and ploughing straight into a tree. The bin crashed to the ground, spilling Dinking out right at Molly's feet. "You're funny, Dinking," she giggled. "Kissy, kissy!" She loomed over him. Dinking got ready to be turned into a Zombalian, but... "Bedtime, Molly!" shouted Mrs. Coddle. "See you in the morning, Dinkin," said Molly, following her mother into the house. In the morning, thought Dinking. He only had one night to reveal Molly's secret identity to the world, and one thing was certain: he couldn't do it alone. Chapter 7, The Return of the Frightening Things. Dinking lay awake in bed. He watched as the clock ticked from 11:59 p.m. to 12 a.m. It was midnight, and time to summon the frightening things again. He began the chant, and they arrived one by one. Edgar tumbled out of the cupboard, minus his bottom jaw, just as Herbert crawled out from under the bed, chewing on something large and yellowy. It was Edgar's jaw. Edgar screamed in rage and pounced on Herbert just as Arthur flew in through the window. Soon they were all a tumbling mass of bones and scales and slobber. "Stop it!" cried Dinking. Edgar grabbed his jaw and put it back in. "Why, what's happened?" "The worst thing in the world!" groaned Dinking. "The Zombalian knows I know!" The frightening things looked puzzled. "She knows I know her secret. She's going to get me first, and then no one will be safe." "Ah!" screamed the frightening things. Our only chance is to unmask her before she changes me into a Zombalian," said Dinking. "It's time to go next door." Chapter 8, The Plan. Dinking held up a long string. Attached to one end was the dog chew from the supermarket, wrapped neatly in a slice of chicken. "This is a dog distractor," he told the frightening things. "We'll need it and the Zombatron 6000 to carry out the sort of plan." Dinking's sort of plan. 1. Team goes to the Coddles' house. 2. Edgar and Herbert divert Princess Puppyface. 3. Arthur turns Dinking ghostly and they fly through the window. 4. Dinking and Arthur locate the Zombalian. They demask her and photograph her ghastliness. 5. Return to base in Dinking's bedroom. 6. Reveal the Zombalian's secret. 7. The Zombalian scarpers and the world is saved. Dinking put the Zombatron 6000 on and handed the dog distractor to Edgar. "Make sure you and Herbert hang on to the string once Princess Puppyface has taken the bait," he said. "We need to keep her out of the main action." They crept downstairs, opened the front door and stepped out into the rain. "Go, go, go!" hissed Dinking. A bolt of lightning ripped the sky as Dinking and the Frightening Things made their way across to the Coddle's house. "I'm filling up like a water balloon," moaned Arthur. "I can hardly float."
"Shush!" whispered Dinking, shaking with fear. "We can't turn back now. Activate the plan."
Edgar and Herbert edged up to the house and peered through the letterbox.
"Hello, Princess Puppyface," whispered Edgar nervously. "Does Diddums want a tasty treat?"
He pushed the dog distractor through the gap and lowered it to the floor. There was a snuffling sound. She was taking the bait. Chomp! The string tightened as the dog sunk her teeth into the dog distractor. Edgar held on tightly. "I've got her!" he shouted. "Go, Dinking, go!" Without warning, the dog yanked Edgar's arm through the letterbox, slamming him into the door. Herbert grabbed Edgar and pulled him back with all his might, but the dog held on. "We have to help!" cried Arthur.
"We can't," said Dinking. "We've got to stick with the plan. Now fly us in through the window."
Arthur wrapped his ghostly tendrils around Dinking, turning him ghostly too. As they floated slowly upwards, Arthur tried to dodge the raindrops, but it was no good. Would they be ghostly enough to fly through the grass?
"Please don't splatter us on the window,"
begged Dinking, and he closed his eyes. Okay, so there's a few questions for you to answer. Maybe go back through it. The pictures are actually better on the copy that I've made, so if you did want to go back and listen to it whilst looking at the better pictures, then please do feel free. Unfortunately, when we photocopied it, the black came out really black. So have a little go. Enjoy doing the questions. It's like being a detective, isn't it? Finding the answers to these sorts of questions, and let us know how you get on.